Hello and welcome to the Ask Dr. Pickel show, where we help people to find answers to health issues, chronic health problems. And today's topic is caffeine. Now, many of you may want to hear more about caffeine. Some of you may not want to hear a lot about caffeine because it might be a touchy subject. But caffeine, as you may well know, is, of course, a psychoactive drug. It's a stimulant, as you already know, and there's a difference between using a stimulant to maybe help you in a certain situation. But let's say you drink some coffee, you like some coffee in the morning, especially a warm drink in the morning, or a hot tea to kind of get you warmed up. No problem. But the thing is there are some people though that use caffeine to get them through their day, or let's say they use caffeine or they abuse caffeine. If you find that you need caffeine to get through your day, or otherwise it's hard to even function, there's a problem. And that's what you got to really think about is why do I need this? Why is it that after I eat lunch, I've got to go to the coffee place or drink a pop after lunch to kind of keep my energy up, or otherwise I have to take a nap after lunch. So, you have to question those things. What's going on in your body that you can't do? You can't make energy properly on your own, because there's reasons for that. And if you continue doing the caffeine, you actually can be worsening your problem. So we're going to talk more about that and a few things that apply to caffeine itself. And I would also say, there's a lot of people say, hey, it's not a big deal, I use decaf. Well, actually, by law, decaf can still be up to 80% caffeine. So don't think that, hey, you're getting away with something there. And again, I would say the demand for caffeinated products is rising, especially in the amounts of caffeine in those products, from coffees to pops to these power drinks to even things you can take, and chew on and swallow while you're driving to kind of get caffeine up. And the amount of milligrams in those varies too, and can add up through the day. So, but the problem comes in again on what is this doing to the body, and is it creating some problems? So let's jump right in here with something else. Let me pull this to the front here. All right, and let me see if I can start this. Okay, oops, we're on the wrong slide here. Got to start with number 1. All right, and let's try that again. Okay, guys, so caffeine looks like a chemical that's already in our brain called adenosine. Adenosine is actually in our brain, neurotransmitter. It's used to kind of keep our brain calm. It also helps us to fall asleep easier. And again, it can make us drowsy. So when caffeine comes in, because caffeine looks just like adenosine, caffeine can attach to those brain receptors, those binding sites. It can dock on them. And it can basically, the brain says, whoa, what is that? This looks just like adenosine, but it's not. Wow. And then it creates a stimulatory effect on the body. So basically it lights up the brain, causes the adrenal glands to release some hormones there. And then overall, what this can do is it can increase your blood pressure and heart rate, can increase alertness, and actually can prevent you from feeling fatigued for a longer period of time until it, of course, wears off. So here's the issue, though, is as you bring in caffeine, the brain says, hey, I kind of like that. Make more receptors for that, more binding sites for that. So we get more binding sites for the caffeine that it can attach to. But then when the caffeine wears off, adenosine comes back in, and adenosine will then bind to all those extra sites the caffeine created. And now we will feel even more tired. So it creates this worse response. And the more caffeine we do, again, it can create more and more binding sites, and we just get more adenosine after that, which can, of course, make you more reliant on caffeine to keep you more awake. So, and especially if you use the synthetic caffeines, that can even do it more. I mean, if you drink like some natural green tea, there's some inherent caffeine in there. But, a lot of times if we're drinking a pop or something like that, there's synthetic caffeines in there. But again, over time, as you increase these receptors, get more adenosine binding, yeah, you're going to start to feel problems and you're going to start to become more dependent on that caffeine to get you through your day. So if we continue to keep this adenosine going, adenosine, of course, as we need more, you actually produce more, and it kind of just keeps producing more and more. This also, as you do stimulants, as you do caffeine, this increases stress on your adrenal glands, and those adrenal glands are really important for blood sugar regulation, your sleep-wake cycle, your energy levels. They even have effects on your immune system. And so also, if those adrenal glands are already having problems, if you already have stress in your life, or if you already are doing things that affect those adrenals, or you've had some past issues, physical stress or trauma, emotional stress or trauma, chemical stress or trauma, those adrenal glands aren't functioning well and you're forcing them to work harder. And then as they make more cortisol, that increases the blood sugar floating around in your bloodstream, and then that can start to cause more insulin resistance there. So, let's stop that screen and get back to this. All right. So overall, this can be an issue. And again, it can create, they're not supposed to call it a dependency, but it can be. And again, you'll tend to look for that. The brain will start to look for that caffeine to bring you back up. And of course, this can create problems. So the thing you got to look at is why. Why do I need this? And can I just go off of it? Because if you go off of caffeine for a while, a lot of people will get headaches. They'll get a lot of fatigue for a while. Now, again, if you go off it for a while and you go through kind of those symptoms, those receptors will start to tone down, and and that will you can bounce back. But if your adrenal glands are still having problems, you won't bounce back. Some people say, gosh, I went off the caffeine because I was trying to feel better, but I never did feel better, so I got back on the caffeine. It's because the internal mechanisms like your adrenal glands that help with your energy levels through the day and keep your blood sugar going, and also potentially you may have other issues like thyroid issues or other energy producing things in the body that are being affected. So the thing is to figure out what's underlying this. Why do you have the energy problem in the first place? And deal with that, because again, caffeine's acting like a crutch. All right, well, hopefully that gave people some information regarding caffeine and some interesting stuff. I would say if you could share this video, I think there's a lot of people out there who need health information. So don't hesitate to share any of our videos on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I think this can be of value to people and help them find out that there are alternatives in regards to health conditions, health issues. All right. Well, God bless, and everybody have a wonderful evening.